we don't require, but we sure encourage service from every level of our league. We service from our players, from our coaches, from our organizations. So for me as a commissioner, the most important thing I do is serve these young folks. Heroes Camp is a ministry that was started out of my brother's church in South Bend, Indiana, 27 years ago. Continues to touch thousands of lives in Indiana, where I'm from. We started a couple years ago here in Brampton, and every free Saturday I try to get here and meet with these young people and talk to them about life and encourage them and have fun with them. You know, my tagline is faith, fun, and fellowship, and just have a lot of good fun. And I think it's consistent with what we're doing as a league. So I'm really enjoying doing part of Heroes Camp and getting to be a part of this today. Come over here. Young guys like this, he's standing there watching because he wants to smile and get on camera. That smile is precious, right? That's more important than anything else you can do on a basketball court or anything else, is getting to hang out with a guy like this. Is that right? You having fun? All right, that's all that matters.
Kobe Kay, joined alongside my partner as always, Mr. Brett Hedges, as we take a weekly look at action from around the league, including highlights, game recaps, exclusive power rankings, and of course our player interviews, your one-stop shop for all things NBL Canada related. And Brett, we will start with our tweet of the week.
Absolutely. This week's tweet of the week comes from Windsor Express associate head coach Tony Jones at T Jones Live, and he said regarding Windsor's win over the Niagara River Lions last week, great comeback and team win. Down 70-58 headed into the fourth, 101-98 final. Hashtag road wins are sweet. Couldn't agree with him more. Road wins are sweet, especially when you're playing a tough Niagara River Lions squad. Kobe.
And we will be talking about those Windsor Express when we get to our power rankings. But let's get you guys caught up with all of the action we've seen over the course of the last 7 days with your NBL Week in a Flash.
This is your NBLC in a Flash. As time progresses, the Niagara River Lions continue to show improvement under head coach Graz Lecollier. Things didn't start off as planned as they dropped their first game of the week to the Windsor Express in a close 101-98 loss. The bright spot was newly acquired BJ Montero, who finished with a team-high 19 rebounds. The River Lions were back at it a few days later when they faced the Lightning in London's only game of the week and had a much more suitable outcome to their liking. This nail-biter of a game came down to the last possession, but Nick O'Corey was unable to hit the go-ahead three-pointer and the Lightning would go 0-for on the week. The streak continued for the River Lions as they devoured the Orangeville A's 113-103 on the strength of 21 points from BJ Montero and 20 from Sammy Zaglinski. Newly acquired Samuel Muldrow finished with 15 points and 4 block shots. The 6'9 center showed off his range, connecting on 3 of 4 from three-point land. The A's came into their contest against Niagara riding a bit of a high thanks to a 3-game winning streak. In their prior contest, they faced off against the Windsor Express and took home the victory 113-98 with 7 different players scoring a double digit, including 19 from Tyrone Watson, who appeared in his first game as an A. Orangeville was unable to keep the ball rolling in their third game in as many days and lost on the road 100-102 to the Express, going 1-2 on the week. The win over the A's was important to Windsor as it inched them one step closer to the idle London Lightning, whose Central Division crown was in jeopardy. The Lightning's loss to Niagara in their only game of the week didn't help matters much. Meanwhile, the Express gained a bit of ground, going 2-1 on the week with a big win over Niagara, where Chris Commons churned out a 29-point effort. They would then go on to split their home-and-home series with the A's. After losing the first game 113-98, they went home the very next day and squeezed out the close 100-102 win. The Halifax Hurricanes had a great week and proved that there's no place like home as they went a perfect 2-0 and maintained their top spot in the Atlantic Division standings. They first saw Moncton, who was competing in their only game of the week, and withstood a Tidron Beatty 26-point explosion off the bench, thanks in large part to the eventual player of the week, Justin Johnson. Double J poured in 31 points against the Miracles and would return with another strong effort the next night against the Mill Rats, going 9 for 12 from the field for 23 points. That was St. John's third loss in a row, and the Mill Rats crew would go on to collect their worst loss of the season in their next contest against the Island Storm, 137-92. The fact that they missed 20 of their 24 three-point attempts didn't help their cause very much. Meanwhile, the Island, who were on the other end of the spectrum behind the three-point arc, had a brilliant performance from Morgan Lewis, who had a near-perfect game, going 7 for 8 from the field overall and 6 for 6 from 3. The Storm would also win their only game of the week. And that's your NBLC in a flash.
Welcome back to NBL Canada Live this week. Brett and Kobe in studio talking about our week's top stories. And to me, there is no bigger story in the league than the NBL Canada announcing league-wide sponsors for the rest of this year. Here it is, straight from the press release. Dental Mart Sales and Dental Fix Canada have come to an agreement with the National Basketball League of Canada to become national sponsors for the remainder of the year. This sponsorship package will include patches to be worn on the shorts of each uniform, NBL Canada website banner ads, as well as social media recognition and the naming rights for the league MVP award and all league awards. There will be further naming rights for the divisions, being that the Central Division will be named the Central Division standings sponsored by Dental Mart Sales, and the Eastern Division standings sponsored by Dental Fix. The 2016 NBL Canada playoffs are also going to be brought by Dental Mart Sales. So a big push from the league this year, fifth year, getting some major league-wide sponsors, a big move for the league.
Well, I think it's a testament to growth, and I think we could really describe this year as a banner season. It's a banner year. The NBL has taken a distinct turn for the better, and these sponsorships, this partnership is a testament to this working, because the outside community is seeing the value of the product inside, and now if the outside intangibles are coming in, that just means we are going to blossom, going to break out into a whole other level. So this is monstrous. And I would agree with you, Brett. Biggest top story of the week. I know it's not the most exciting for, say, somebody that's a fan that just wants to watch basketball. But if you believe in this league, if you love this league, this is absolutely huge. And I will tell you what else is huge. The signing of Tyrone Watson. He has already put in, I think, 3 games, average almost 20 points per game. The guy is a bruiser. He's a banger. We watched him with Halifax just work down low. Orangeville was a piece or two away. They are no longer, the bottom of the division team. They are making a real push and run here in the later part of the season. We just seen them go on a 3-game win streak. They come into Windsor last time we played and took us right down to the wire. There are no nights off anymore. Tyrone Watson only solidifying the rise of these Orangeville A's.
I couldn't agree with you more. Tyrone Watson adds a very big dynamic to the Orangeville A's. They're missing a little bit of sandpaper to their game. Like we talked about earlier, they've got Justin Moss, who's a great 20 and 12 rebounder. You've got the stretch guy on the wing like Amarty. You've got the point guard, Daquan Brooks. But you needed that glue guy, that sandpaper guy, Tyrone Watson, and I think that's the kind of element that he brings to this team, and they're going to be pretty successful. So that'd be my my lookout for see who's going to be making a big push in the late stages of the season.
And I will talk a little more in depth about that when we get to our power rankings. Some records set this year, real exciting stuff. A fan had posted in the NBL Canada fans Facebook group. Some interesting stuff, and I thought I would share it because I thought it was pretty cool. Sammy Zaglinski has broken the NBL Canada record for assists in a season. The previous record of 194 was set by Clifford's Clickscales. With 13 games left in the season, Sammy already with 198 dimes on the season. That is just ridiculous. That man can facilitate the basketball.
Absolutely, and that doesn't, and that kind of gives you a small testament of what kind of offensive game he brings overall. This guy can also light you up for 30 points a game if he wants to, but his assists and his passing ability is really is one of the best in the league, and one of the best I've ever seen in the league. So congratulations to you, Sammy. You're setting the bar for the rest of the league now.
And speaking of phenomenal passers, my favorite player, Mr. 40-plus name earned, not given, Tony Bennett. He's breaking records on the Windsor Express. He will surpass the previous record for assists in a season. He is currently 13 shy, sitting at 181 on the season with 12 games left. What more can you say about Mr. Tony Bennett?
Mr. 40-plus TV, like we've seen him before for 3+ years in this league. No matter what jersey he's got on, he's battling and he's winning basketball games, and he's getting his teammates involved. After Bill Jones moved him to the true point guard spot, after a little bit of deck reshuffling earlier in the year, he's really thrived. He's had games where he's been close to 20 assists, and but he can also fill up the basket as well. So a big testament to Tony Bennett's game.
And a fun segment that we love to do on NBL Canada Live this week is Chuck Miller's Cool Stat. And this guy has made it on there a couple times. We're talking about Anthony Stover, who has blown away the NBL Canada record for 66 blocks set by Cavell Johnson. And he's taken this one right out of the water. Currently has 80 blocks on the season, 16 games left. Good Lord.
80 blocks. Let's just let that sit for a second. You've had 80 shots shoved back in your face, or you've shoved 80 shots back in the face of the opposition team. That just speaks about the kind of defense that these guys are playing and what kind of level that everyone's playing. With how many games to go in the regular season, we've already had 3 records set. It really speaks to the talent that we've got in this league, and it really speaks, Anthony Stover's case, how dominant he can be on the defensive side of the floor.
And we're going to talk about Anthony Stover one more time, and that was the record for blocks in a game being 10. Now, let me explain something. In a best-case scenario, that is a plus 20 points differential on the scoreboard. So let's say the team makes 50% of their field goals. Your team is starting out up 10 simply from those blocks. Just fantastic.
Absolutely, and those are the intangibles that go into winning championships, even so to speak. You've seen how teams in this league have solidified the defensive end of the floor and then won championships based off of that and being able to compensate on the offensive side of the floor. So if you're going to have a championship formula, it really starts on defense, and I think it's going pretty well for Anthony Stover in St. John.
A dead-eye shooter from the free throw line. The Windsor Express sharpshooter Brandon Robinson currently holds a free throw percentage of just over 90. Fantastic. And if he continues to hold or set that record for free throw percentage in a season, he will surpass Jermaine Blackburn, whose previous record of 88%, also excellent. And then noteworthy was Corey Almond, who's currently has a higher percentage of .923, but is no longer playing in the league. So right now, this record is all Brandon Robinson. He has been doing it night in and night out from the charity stripe.
Absolutely. B-Rob, as we more affectionately know him as. He came into the Windsor Express as the NBL Canada's second all-time leading scorer, and quite frankly, he's proven that with his time with the Windsor Express. Every time he's got the ball in his hands, he can knock it down, and every time he goes to the free throw line, it's almost guaranteed that he's going to make 2 free throws. So big factor for the Express if they want to be successful, and of course, keeping up those percentages are always good for everyone. So good to see Brandon Robinson doing well.
And last but not least, we're going to head back out to the Atlantic Division, a team that you've been speaking about quite a bit, Brett. We're both really enjoyed catching the games, and we're talking about the St. John Millrats, who, if they keep up this torrid pace, their league best offense of 109.8 points per game will beat the previous record of 108.8 set by the London Lightning. You want to talk about an offensive juggernaut? The St. John Millrats are your team.
And that's led by Agent AA Anthony Anderson, the all-time leading scorer in league history. And no surprise that Anthony Anderson is leading the top-ranked offense in the league. fantastic basketball player, but a fantastic supporting cast on that team. You've got scorers from around the league. And if I went into everybody that could score on the St. John Millrats, we'd be here all night. So let's just leave it at that. The St. John Millrats, a fantastic team. Rob Spahn doing a fantastic job coaching that team. And like I said earlier, they've got themselves a good nucleus there. We'll see how it goes.
And next up, Brett and Kobe will go through your official power rankings. I will be taking a look at the Central Division, as Brett will be taking a look at the Atlantic Division, and those power rankings are coming up next.
Welcome back to the NBL Canada Live This Week podcast. Going straight into our power rankings, let's start with the Atlantic Division, Kobe, and my team at the number 4 spot. I don't feel they're going to stay there for very long. It's the Island Storm, currently with 10 wins on the year, but a very resounding win over the St. John Millrats this past weekend. This team is on the upward swing with the acquisition of Chad Posthumus at the center spot and Morgan Lewis, who we all know can knock down shots from anywhere in the gym. It's really looking positive for the Island Storm as we're moving towards the playoffs. Now, a team that's just above them in my power rankings are the Moncton Miracles, a team who has really embraced the defensive mentality that head coach Paul McKeskey brings to them. We noted earlier that they were the top-ranked offense in the league earlier. They make the coaching change to McKeskey, and now they're pulling out these close games. They make the acquisition of getting Gary Gibson, got Sean Van Zant that's in the fold now, and just the whole roster itself is really feeding off of the energy that's surrounding the Moncton Miracles franchise. So big moves up for Moncton this week. My next team is the St. John Millrats, a team that we have no problem discussing on a weekly basis on this podcast. Like you said, they're anchored on the defensive side of the floor from Anthony Stover. On the offensive side of the ball, they've got Agent AA Anthony Anderson, who can knock down 50 points in a night if he wants to. And of course, all the supporting features that are there, Gabe Freeman, and like I said, we could talk about these guys for a very lengthy time. So St. John right now in the second spot in my power rankings in the Atlantic Division, and then it's the Halifax Hurricanes, 16-7, and they're there for a good reason. This is a very, very, very solid basketball club. Big shout out to Justin Johnson, who was named the NBL Canada Player of the Week. And just to solidify some of the stats that surround Halifax, right now this team is first in defensive rebound, in total rebounding, first in scoring margin, first in field goal percentage, and first in free throw percentage. So those are four very key stats that they are tops in the league in, and that's why, in my opinion, they are the top ranked team in the Atlantic Division.
I will take a look and break down your Central Division rankings, starting with the 8-17 Orangeville A's. We talked about the addition of Tyrone Watson, Richard Amarty, and big man Justin Moss getting some relief. They bring in Daquan Brooks. What a fantastic, crafty, skilled point guard. And then they go out and bring in Tyrone Watson. I liked your analogy of that piece of sandpaper, but that's what he is. He's going to give you that grit, that toughness, that fire down low, and this guy can score. This Orangeville A's team struggling a little bit to score the basketball, 99.4 points per game, so they needed that scoring punch, and with Tyrone Watson, he can put in 20 on any given night. We've also seen them recently go on a 3-game run. They've come into Windsor the other night, like we talked about earlier, and took Windsor right down to the wire at the WFC Youth Center, shooting the 3-ball much better. This squad playing a lot better than an 8-17 team, that is for sure. Chris Thomas, after a rough stretch, really gets things going for the Orangeville A's. We're going to next look at the 10-17 Niagara River Lions. It's interesting because you see Orangeville go out and get Tyrone Watson, and Niagara answers the bell, bringing in former Kansas Jayhawk Travis Relaford. Relaford helps the Jayhawks to 5 Big 12 championships. Unbelievable, a Final Four appearance, and during his last stay in the NBL, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. So this guy isn't just a role player. This is a guy that is going to produce at a very, very high level. The Niagara River Lions playing great basketball. This is a well-run organization. They have shown a commitment to that team, and moving forward, I expect great things. The 15-13 Windsor Express making that push for the Central Division. Will they get there? We don't know yet, but they're going to make their best effort, led by Chris Commons doing everything he can on both sides of the floor. His play this year has been unbelievable. Tony Bennett, Brandon Robinson, Kirk Williams Jr., Maurice Bolden, the list goes on, all contributing. Windsor, like to see them score the basketball a little more. They are a shade under 100 points, but their points against is what keeps them in this thing and makes them so special. That championship level defense, just under 100 points per game for opponents. That is really good. They bring in Sharon Collins. This guy had big time experience coming into this thing. Time spent with the Charlotte Bobcats. Just a monster player, really solidifying that backcourt, bringing a lot of size. We've seen him in the last home game in Windsor struggling from the field, 0-5 I believe, but has the confidence to take that big three-point shot and drills it. He doesn't make that shot, I don't know that they win that game. So I believe Sharon Collins, when he gets in shape, when he gets into rhythm, when he builds that cohesiveness with his teammates, I think he will be a great addition to this Windsor Express team. Last but not least, your 17-9 London Lightning, scoring 107.5 points per game, allowing opponents to score 103.4. I believe they lead the scoring margin or very close to. And if you look at the top 20 statistical categories in this league, they are near the top of almost every one. This team does so much together. And Nick Evans comes in 6'10". They really needed that height and size. I think the closest player in height behind him was 6'9". So they're not the biggest team, but they don't play small, that's for sure. And Nick O'Corey and company just getting it done. Once again, they are perennial contenders in this league. They're already owned 2 NBL Canada championships. And I expect nothing less this year. Try to regain that championship, bring it back to London, well supported by their fans. Great organization, and arguably the best team in the NBL.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well done, my friend Kobe, breaking down the NBL Canada power rankings. Let's see how these shake up next week. You never know in a week of NBL Canada action. But moving forward now, the Moncton Miracles have definitely been on a rise in the NBL Canada, so to speak. So NBL Canada Live this week, crew caught up with Miracle guard Dexter Strickland, who provided some insight as to why they've been so successful as they chase the end goal of an NBL Canada championship.
Well, our goal is, since day one, is to win a championship. And, with that mindset, we have to push ourselves each and every day in practice. So I would say it's not easy, but I wouldn't say it's hard because it's something that we all as a team want to do. So we just push ourselves each and every day. It's just knowing what I have to do to help my team win. Just having the confidence within myself to get the job done. My goal is the same as everybody else's on the team, so it's not just me, but it's everybody else stepping up when it's time to. I think the atmosphere is great. Our team chemistry is at an all-time high. Everybody likes each other, and that's what's important when you're trying to win a championship. We don't have any cancers on the team. Everybody just gets along within the players and the staff, even with the connection that we have with our fans. And that's something that's going to help us achieve our goal, which is winning the championship. For me, it's special because just the name alone, the Moncton Miracles, and just the support that we have within this town. Everybody's supportive. Last year we didn't have the organization didn't have a record to where they were wanted to be, but just this year having them come out and support us, it just shows their love and their passion for the game, and we appreciate that. I think we're very close. Even the games that we lost, there's just mental mistakes that we've made that we can easily correct ourselves on. I think we have the tools to get the job done, The job is to win the championship, and I think we have all the guys, on the team to help us get that, to help us accomplish that. But I think we're very close. We just gotta, stay focused and keep our eye on the prize.
Welcome back to NBL Canada live this week. In our next segment, Orangeville A's play-by-play announcer Kelsey Wright caught up with a couple players from the NBL that we were just opining on. Two very special guys, brand new, but not new to the game of basketball, that's for sure. We're talking about Tyrone Watson and Sharon Collins. Enjoy the interviews.
We are here at the Athlete Institute. Orangeville A's just beat Windsor. They actually tied 4-4 now. So the next game on Sunday against Windsor with the Orangeville A's is going to be a big game to take the series lead. We have Tyrone Watson here, not a rookie to the league. He played on Halifax last year. He's actually the Canadian Player of the Year in this entire league last year. He's wearing an Orangeville jersey now. Got the hashtag everyday here. Your first game, how's it feel to be out here in Orangeville, almost at home, and you got Player of the Game?
It's great, it's great. I mean, I've never been to Orangeville in my life because last year it was Brampton. So it's nice just to come out this far in Canada and just venture out here. And it was good. I like the facility. I've never actually played in a facility this well. And the guys are great. Everyone's friendly. The fans are nice. And I haven't really had a problem. So I got nothing but positive vibes.
We talked a little bit before the game. You've only had one practice here with the team, yet you still got Player of the Game. You look like you were really gelling out there. How's it been?
It's been great. It's been great. I mean, I sat out for a month. I don't know if anybody knows that. I sat out for a month and I didn't play. And I was just anxious to get back out there and get running and playing basketball again. So when I got the call that I could join a team, I was on it right away, and I wanted to be a part of the A's organization.
Now you're back in the NBL, completely different organization, completely different team. You said you never actually played here before. Tomorrow night is your first theme night. It's going to be the theme is St. Patrick's Day. It's a little bit early,
so
but the theme nights are quite fun here. What are you most looking forward to for St. Patrick's?
I mean, I'm looking to see who's the best dressed in the crowd as far as costumes go. That's the main thing. St. Patty's Day is a nice event.
So we'll have to follow up with you tomorrow and see who you pick as the best dress for St. Patty's.
I will pick somebody, definitely.
All right, I'm going to let you go celebrate with your team. Once again, I've said that a couple times to you today, but my very last question. Going into tomorrow, you have Niagara, and then you have Windsor again. What's going to be the main keys to get those two victories? Like, that's 3 games in 3 days.
Yes, it's tough on the legs, but as long as everybody buys into the concepts and what coach is pushing at us, everything just plays out. As long as nobody plays out of their role, everything will be fine. Everything just correlates and everything gels together. So I think if we can come out there with the same defensive mindset that we did this game, apart from what happened in the fourth quarter right there at the ending, I think we'll be fine. I think we should take these next 2 games. I mean, I don't want to lose at all. I hate losing, so my mind is straight on winning.
You can tell it there. You're a very strong player. And now, I know I said I was going to let you go celebrate. We're going to do one more question for the fans out there, for the Orangeville A fans. One thing that we don't know about you. Really putting you on the spot.
I have 7 brothers and 4 sisters.
Huge family.
Yes.
And they're going to come watch you sometime.
Yeah, they're going to come out here maybe Saturday. Tomorrow's Saturday. I'm all lost on the time. Yeah, they should be here tomorrow, my family.
All right, we're going to meet the Watson clan tomorrow. For now, congratulations on Player of the Game. Congratulations, welcome to the team, and we're really excited for the rest of the season.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
I'm here with Windsor's newly acquired Sharon Collins. I mean, you've had quite the career as a basketball player. For everyone at home, I'm going to let you know, he played in the D-League, he's played in the NBA, and he went to Kansas before that. So, I mean, you're quite the experienced basketball player. Now you're here playing for the Windsor Express in the NBL Canada League. How does it feel to be out here?
It feels good. Just to get back into playing, I took a year off, getting myself and getting my body together. So it feels good just getting back in the groove and getting the rhythm and getting the feeling.
And now you've played at the top level that you can possibly play at. How do you feel the professionalism is here compared to it is in the NBA and the D-League and even top college teams?
I feel like it's near the top. I wouldn't say that the caliber of the talent is the top like the NBA, but we're all pros. I mean, the organizations are good. The gyms, the facilities, I think they treat us all well. So I mean, I think this league is up and coming.
Comparison, the D-League talent, the D-League kind of league altogether, compared to what you're playing here with the NBL, how is the difference there?
I just think they have a better overall viewing and sponsorship, just being, affiliated with the NBA. But I feel like the talent level is pretty much the same. Granted to the guys that's already signed in NBA come down and play, those guys are special, lottery picks. But, I mean, you got some guys that's, play in this league that we all played in the D-League before. And, we just don't, sometimes you don't get the right, the right hand or the right deal. And, the D-League is a grind, and you got to be ready for that. And, some guys just, feel that, opportunity comes more in another league.
And now you've only been here for, I guess, just over 2 weeks now. You've only played 3 games. This is your 3rd game here in Orangeville, where we are right now. Looking into the next games, what's going to be the biggest thing for you personally to really shine?
For me, I got to knock down some shots. I got to make it easier for my team, and that's normally shots that I make with my eyes closed. I just got to find a rhythm, and I got to help my team get easier shots, and that's just me being a point guard and running the team and, being vocal. I just got to control the game.
And now, for everybody at home who's watching this, who hasn't had the opportunity to watch Mr. Collins here play, he is a player who goes full force at the net. He's able to shoot, he's able to pass it, and you put your entire body into those layups. I've seen you put layups in and then crash into the end zone. I mean, how's your body feeling?
It gets a little sore here and there, but we got great massage therapists here, and I ice my body a lot, but that's always been the caliber of player I've been. I like the contact and, finishing, and sometimes I take some hard falls. I think this is a good league. This is a great league. It feels great, though, just to be out here playing against some guys like Dominique Cheeks, who I knew from Villanova, and playing against some guys from Chicago. Al Stewart just came back to the Storm, so it's good. It feels great, and I'm just happy to be here.
We talked a little bit earlier from Chicago. I'm going to let you go just in a couple questions. From Chicago, you have a teammate here who's actually from Chicago too.
Yeah, Tony Bennett. He's the reason. Him and DeAndre.
Look at the smile on his face right now when he talks about him.
Yeah, we're good friends, man, and the respect level of basketball in the city, we carry that real high. The Windsor Express can thank Tony Bennett and DeAndre Thomas, because they're the reason I'm here.
Welcome back, folks, and it is time for Chuck Miller's fans to come out of the doldrums and once again embrace the NBL Canada Stat of the Week. Chuck Miller in his lab doing everything that he can to bring some interesting facts and stats to the NBL Canada fans. Here's his latest edition of NBL Canada Stat of the Week.
Hi, Chuck Miller, your NBL Canada League Statistician with your NBL Canada Cool Stat of the Week. Which Canadian university do you think has sent the most players to the NBL? Brock? St. Francis Xavier? Dalhousie? Well, the school with the most alumni in the NBL is the University of Windsor, with 6 players going from college life to the NBL, including Isaac Kwan, Greg Cermax, and Jamal McQueen. And that's your NBL Canada Cool Stat of the Week.
All right, folks, that's going to do it from all of us here at NBL Canada Live this week. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Check us out on nblcanada.ca. But don't go anywhere yet, folks, and enjoy those weekly highlights. Peace.
White spins by Volsey and flushes. Yeah. One-on-one, bounce pass behind to Hunt.
Now we got to take a look as we see the flush in transition by Billy.
And then we see the same thing with Mike Allison pushing up. Springer Williams throws one down.
Has the ball now. Pass was weak, picked off by Griswold, and flush.
Gardner is flushed there by
Get it back the other way. Comes Shaquille Keith. Keith passes up. Nice pass to Robertson there. Right back on the other side. Bolden comes up with another steal.
Hurricanes, see if they pay for it here. And Freeman was wide open underneath the hoop, but not one I can make. He's out of his pocket there by Gibson. Up to Beatty. Fell it there by Clinkscales and one.
Strong move and finish at the rim is Beatty. Not having a stellar night shooting from the field, but he's continuing to be very aggressive and trying to capitalize on it.
On the floor, Bernard Whitfield's not getting up from that. Watson puts it in on the other side.
Whitfield on the floor now. Nice pass there, stolen. Flatline Charles puts it up and slams it down the Riverlions. The Riverlions in such a...
Watch by Justice. Inside the Hunt, blows by Grano, and down with the ball goes Hunt.
good.
12.
But he did get that steal, and he goes for the pass.
What a
Wow!
my goodness!
Wow!
Puts it up, big block by Allison.
I want to do that, but a nice defensive play in transition by Billy
And
White.
the beast, Mike Glover, with the one-handed finish.
He makes it look so easy as we see him now. He's still up top. Zaglinski coming down. Gets it to go.
You know, I think that excellent jump shot by Sam
Stutz out for three. Stutz can't make it drop it. Zaglinski gets the rebound, throws up another three, and it's good!
That's a great finish.